looks good. Okay. Okay. Sasquatch Auntie's here. Just staring at you. Well, we are back. And we are out here in this area that we're not going to tell you exactly where it is, but this area right here is a huge Sasquatch, Iimoitapi, Bigfoot, Sabe, people, beings, creatures, right here in this location where we're at.
We're just excited because we got some content coming out, and it's been a busy summer, but I know we've been missing in action on YouTube, but we've been pretty busy through the summer doing some hiking and also getting some stories for the channel. So we're excited to get some content uploaded for everybody. Hey everyone, it's me, Carrie Lynn. I want to introduce this video coming up, and it was told by a friend of mine who we've been friends most of our lives, and I just know her throughout our lives that she's been a very honest and credible person. Her and her husband, they help in the ministry at Church on the Rock, and so I've just known them for a long time, both her and her husband, and they're good friends of mine. And she told me and Lailani this story that happened, and it took place at our where my mom and dad's property sits, and they were camping there. And so there were several other people that were at this camp, and one of them being our brother Titus. And I'm sure you might have heard his story on the channel, and we'll link it below. And if you want to go look at the story of how Titus tells his story, and it was the same event that happened. And so it just happened that Wanda was one of the people in her family that was camping there that night. And so it was interesting to hear her perspective on what happened that night. And it's been quite a few years since that happened, but that night has never left her memory. And she always recalls what happened. And so, it was just really fortunate, and that we were with her and she was able to tell us the story.
So probably about I'd say mid-90s. So we were all out here on a cookout, and there's a whole bunch of us. I think it was like a church cookout or something, and everyone kind of like doing, some of them, were leaving as the day went on. And there's my family, my sister, her family, and a couple other couples and their kids. We were all pretty young. We were all young couples, and so all of our kids were young. And so we were just out here, and we liked it. We enjoyed our company, and we were visiting, and we were sitting by the fire. And right over here by in the trees, there's like a little area where there's a campfire. So we were all sitting around there, and they were wondering if it was a bear or something. And so it just went on by. We just kind of forgot about it. Maybe a couple hours later, we were, it was about midnight. It was like midnight, and we were kind of starting to get ready to go, but we were just enjoying ourselves. We were doing s'mores and all that, and kind of like start milling around so that we could, probably start moving towards leaving. And this little ridge right over here, just on the other side of the creek, we heard a yell, and it was close and it was long, and it sounded exactly like the one you heard, but it didn't have that little, I call it a chuckle. And it didn't have that at the end, but it was just, long and loud. And we just kind of everybody kind of froze, and we just all start moving at once. And we were just, throwing our stuff together, and then Titus said, we got to put this fire out. We can't leave this fire. So him and another guy went down, and they had to get water, and we were trying to, and then there was another person there that was a game warden at the time, and he just threw his stuff in, and he was the first one to head out. And so here we were, but we had to make sure the place was clean and the fire was out and all that. And then we all went home. About a week later, one of the guys that was there, they were talking to that game warden. And they asked him, what would you think about that animal we heard, or whatever that was? And he said, I can't identify it. I don't know. It didn't sound like anything that I've ever heard before. And so he asked him, well, what do you think? Could it have been a Bigfoot? And he said, I've never seen one. I've never heard one, or, seen the tracks or anything. He said, but if there's a lot of credible people that come in and they report things, when they're hunting, fishing, camping. And he said, a lot of credible people in this community. He said, so I think that there's, a possibility. And he said, if there is one, he said, over that ridge would be where, that we get a lot of reports. So, yeah, so I've never seen one, but I heard one very close.
Wow. I just had a question. When you guys heard that scream, was it more like a holler or scream, or was it like that one, like, ooh? Was it like that?
It was kind of like that, but it was like a scream too. I can't explain it. I can't explain how. It was long though. It was long and it was powerful. It was.
Did you also, because I'm not sure if I heard it when Titus was talking about it, but he was talking about when they went down to get the water to put the fire out. He said that something threw a big rock in the river, and they heard that big splash. And I don't know if if you remember that, or
I did not ever hear that, but we were all very scared. So they probably wouldn't have told us that. Because it would have made us even,
more scared to know that it was closer.
And it was close. It where the little river is, it was just on top of that ridge.
Oh,
that's how, it wasn't even, because I was thinking maybe, the road's there, but no, the ridge, it was just, it had to be standing right up there. And it didn't sound like an elk. It didn't sound like nothing I've ever heard.
So where you guys heard the scream is actually maybe like a quarter of a mile where I saw the Bigfoot in 1999?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just where you had your sighting would have probably been just directly across the road. Yeah,
just across the road where it screamed.
Yeah.
Wow. So did you guys all head out?
After we made sure, because we didn't want, we couldn't, this was Harm's property, so we had to make sure everything was tidied up. The fire was out, and yeah, we loaded all the kids up, and we all headed out together. And probably maybe a couple weeks later, we all jumped in with my sister and Titus, and we came out here, and we parked in the middle of the field one night, and we just sat there and listened to see if we could, hear it again or whatever. We never, we didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know what we would have done if we did, but that was quite an experience. It was close.
Yeah.
And I would not want, I would never want to see what was making that noise. It was like really, you could tell it was big, there were some lungs to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.